let's get this going here. Welcome to the O&M committee. I need a motion to approve the minutes of last month's meeting. Ms. Frazier, Mr. Stroud, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, passed. We'll go right into the agenda, and I'll turn it over to Kevin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first item is on page 2 of the agenda, which is a request to reimburse the village for maintenance and repairs associated with the festival space. The first one was for the parking stations. The next one was for the golf cart, and the last one was for the fountain. They had some trouble with the motor on the fountain. They got repaired.
I know, I'm not really on the spot.
That corner of the bathroom. Ms. Frazier, second that?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
Under referral and pending items, there aren't any, and under information for discussion and review, I'll turn it over to the mayor.
We had a successful opening of the split park. Finally happened after all these years. Everything was done. The fountain we got fixed and worked. So thank you all, supervisors that attended, and we had a really good time. We have had a couple of cancellations on the festival space for, actually one for 2019, and that was an event that was scheduled by Jonathan Newell. This would have been his third year. I suspect now that the Strand is open in Hudson Falls and they're doing all their events down there that he's turned his attention to that. So we did lose, we have lost one event. However, we're working now with another new event in September, which is a spin-off of some national talent shows where they do elimination contests, and he's talking about bringing the show here, not this year, but next year in September. And and now Black Dog Design is doing a great job. The county's hired them, and they've got their stuff on the internet up and running, and they're a good outfit to work with, Mr. Chairman. The Adirondack Wine and Food Festival has expanded. They need more space, so they filled out a mini application with Lisa, who couldn't stay, to use the skate park area this year.
He's got some
Yeah, I was
information.
just going to add on to that.
Okay.
They had requested the same thing last year. They use it actually for the children's play area as
Yeah.
part of the festival. So they're just requesting again this year, and we charged them last year for that extra area. They're paying for the festival space, but we charged them $250 more for that.
Yeah, that's what we charge the skate park people when they have a little event there, so we felt that $250 was a fair price, but it has to be approved by the
Okay,
committee.
so someone want to make that motion? Ms. Frazier, Mr. Dickinson seconds. Any other question on it? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
And just for information only, Mr. Chairman, I don't have enough copies of these for today, but to think about for coming meetings, now that we've got everything done in the park, no, we didn't. At the original concept of the Wood Park, there was the construction of a fire tower, which we all thought was a fabulous idea at the time. There was also a bridge that was going across Westbrook Road, which most of us did not think was that good of an idea. But Lisa Nagel, who came to the grand opening, called my attention to it. You can see it in the original plans. I think the idea of the fire tower is excellent, but I'm just putting it out there today for information for the committee so you can think about it. Obviously, what we'd have to do is we would have to authorize over the winter to do some type of a design with the understanding that we would submit for funding in next year's CFA round. So it would all go into next year, obviously. We can be thinking about it, time for when we work on our budget. It would be another great attraction at the entrance to the community. There's no question about it, but it's obviously going to be pricey. We have been successful, if you recall, in getting CFA grant funding and DOS funding to fund 96% of what we built in Wood Park. and I know, I think we would be extremely successful here. But I'm just putting it out there now, so we can be thinking about it, and when budget time comes up for you folks, and when it comes up for us again,
What's she
and,
asking for,
we can bring it back and see if we're interested in doing this last item that was included in Woodbury.
What'd she ask him to do?
Huh?
How much?
She hasn't submitted any proposal. I told her I would bring it up today for thoughts, and I'll bring it up again next month.
I'd like to proceed. I'd like you to get a price for it and see what it is.
Okay, I'll get a proposal from her,
Yeah, let's see what it-
we'll have it in time for your budget considerations.
Jeff?
Just a thought, to make sure that that complies with conservation easement on that
Yeah.
parcel.
Yeah, it does. It was one of the original features that we actually had when we got her proposal for design and construction, and when we went out to, when we applied for grants, we didn't get as much of a grant that we realized, and that was what we just completely knocked it out. So it would be a nice feature, but it's got to be affordable. That's the main thing.
Stroud?
It looks like it goes over West Road and the stream.
Well, we weren't intending to, that was extremely expensive, and right at the beginning, we decided we weren't going to do that, but it does, it goes over the top and brings the folks over into the wetlands. That's what it was meant to do.
So does it connect? Is it a pedestrian access that will go over the stream and?
Yes, it's a pedestrian.
Because it shows it doesn't look like it goes back down on the other side. It
Yeah,
looks like
it does, it was meant to
All
go
right.
right down on the other side.
Yeah, that would be good, that it serves that function
Yeah,
as well
it's
as
a
an
pedestrian
attraction.
thing.
Yeah.
I'm assuming people even walking into the village would walk
See what I'm
up it
saying?
and go across, but that was the most expensive part of the whole concept, and I'll find out more about
Go
it.
down.
I guess you have to climb down the tower to get down.
You gotta climb down the tower on the other side to
You
get
gotta
down,
climb down.
or go back over the walkway,
Or
yeah.
go back.
Yep.
The only thing I was going to add to that, Dave and I were speaking about this in the
At
hallway,
ADA.
is that when you submit, typically for one of these grants, I mean, it's conceptual at best that you're submitting for. We don't have to go full-blown
No.
designs on these. And if they've already put this kind of together as conceptual, it should be minimum effort
Yeah.
by Lisa and their group to do this work.
Yeah, she's submitted all the, past from the start, so obviously I'll talk to her, and I'll get a proposal for our next meeting, but certainly it won't be in time for, we want to get it in time for your budget, and then it'll be ours, and we're thinking next year.
Why don't we put it in this year's CFA? Isn't it July?
It's-
July?
She thinks it's too late.
It is.
I think the deadline's in a couple of weeks, as a matter of fact,
June,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's in June 17th.
And I don't think we got enough figures, we never got a lot of figures out.
Right.
That's all I have.
All right, and Mr. Mayor, I just want to say, great party last week. The food was excellent, great attendance, and I thank you for all the work you've done on
Well,
it.
the LGA took care of the food, Kevin took care of the tents and so forth, and we didn't do much, so I don't know how we're going to pay the bills. Kevin, what are we going to do?
We are actually paying, we paid the village,
Yes.
so you will
Paid everybody?
pay the village.
Oh, you
So you're
did?
getting a check from us for
Okay.
$1,320, which was our share.
Okay, all right,
So
okay.
I believe they're probably just going to bill you guys.
Yep.
Okay, and then the
Yeah.
LGA, the only other bill will have to be the LGA.
Yeah, the tents have been billed to us, and we've submitted that back, I think, or will submit that back to O&M for $1,320. And then whatever, it's split 5 ways.
5 ways.
Yeah, we already did our part, and the
Yep.
check's already been cut.
So everybody else, you just gotta pay us.
All right, anything else to come before this committee? Wait, one more.
Just, did you want to talk about the Tiki?
We can. Dennis is aware of it. When the south parcel was first done, there were some issues with the adjacent landowner, being the Tiki Hotel, with some runoff that came from there, as well as they have a retaining wall at the end of their parking lot. It is in disrepair at best, and it's been that way for several years. It was brought up at last week's conservation easement meeting that Tiki has been unresponsive with that. So, yeah, and Dennis, I think you were out there just in the past couple of weeks and looked at it with Jim Liebram, And so, the town's code really doesn't allow them to go after them to take care of it. I've always felt it's a health and safety issue, really more than any kind of a planning or zoning or code enforcement. So I didn't know as owners, if Kevin and I could take a look at it and see if there's some help that we could get from the county attorney. I believe they've been put on notice years ago. Our former village attorney, Howard Krantz, helped us a lot with that. But it's kind of gone nowhere, and that wall is basically getting worse every year. The problem is it's not on our property, but it is on the line, and the way it tips, when it falls, it could fall on someone that's not really walking on the path, but if they happen to be standing off the path, it's a concrete block wall. It's going to fall on something. So that's...
I think a bigger issue is, it's a huge parking lot, there's no stormwater,
Yeah.
absolutely none. They've got two relatively new drop inlets that simply collect the water and shoot it out into the wetland.
Yeah, there's a couple of spots that it was not originally designed to handle that flow from the tiki. That was why it was pursued early on. But that hasn't been such an impact as this overall safety concern now.
Attorney Howard Krantz worked with them for about 5 years, and after about 5 years, the gentleman owns a tiki, lives in some foreign land, and he appointed we met one Saturday morning with their engineer, which I can't even remember what his name was. They were extremely uncooperative. They didn't want to do anything. But the wetlands was not designed, as Dave said, to handle those big flows. Now, obviously, it was all Charlie's land one time, so he was just dumping it into his own land. Now, of course, we own it. So I think it's a legal thing. I think in view of the fact that it may tip over, I don't think Howard ever put him on official notice, constructive notice that something could happen, so we're going to, this is a dangerous situation, blah, blah, blah. But I think we should. I think we should put them on notice, whoever the owner is, that in case it does fall and hurt somebody, that they have had notice of that. But I also think we should consider some type of legal action soon, because this has been going on way too long. They won't answer our telephone calls. They won't take our mail. They won't accept our mail. It's not a very neighborly thing. And I don't know the owner at all.
Well, I don't know, can we get involved in it?
Kevin and Dave can, I'm sure, give you all the info you need. but-
Yeah, provide our office with as much information as possible.
Well, we're going to meet out there next
We're going to
Wednesday.
meet out there next week.
And I'll have Jim Liebram, and I believe at the meeting last Thursday up at Soil and Water, that's where Jim and Chris both thought that they had been put on notice, but we need to dig that out if they were. Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Move to adjourn.
Move, turn, second? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Thank you.